Well, hello. I'm Aristotle Full Throttle. This is the Aristotle Full Throttle Show. Welcome. Happy Monday. Or Tuesday if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get podcasts, because there's a lot of places you can get podcasts. So pretty soon you're just going to get them teleported into your own brain. And I say teleport because I don't know any other word for that. What would it be? Telepathy? I'm just going to put my podcast inside your brain from my brain. I'm just going to think it. And at one point, everybody's going to hear it. That's what's really going to happen. I believe we're about 10 years out from that. That's if the world survives. I don't think it will. Listen, I'm an optimist usually. I have a positive outlook on life. Hello, Raccoon Raiders. I'm just saying, the world's not going to be here. Or the world as we know it is not going to be here. You know what's weird? You know what I think about all the time? I think about this. I go, right now is the furthest humanity's ever made it. And right now is. And right now, humanity has made it as far as right now. Which is crazy. Because they're warring in Ukraine. The Russians are bombing Ukraine. And they're doing false flag operations, according to the governments of the United States and Ukraine. It's crazy. They're bombing Belarus. They're bombing their own ally so that, listen, Putin, I'm going to say Putin because not Russia. Russian people are like kind of against this on the whole. But Putin's like, I'm going to bomb our friends, the Belarusians, the Belarusians, and be like, yo, they're the Ukraine's just bombed you, bro. Don't you want to help us fight these guys? They're trying to get them into the war. That's just, it's just like, this is childish. This is 4th grade level thinking. It's all lizard brain stuff. Anyway, welcome, Raccoon Raiders, to the show.
Raccoon Raiders! Raccoon Raiders!
Welcome back to the show, Raccoon Raiders. It's always nice to see you. What do you think about what's going on in the world today? Today I was going to talk about Jussie Smollett. Jussie Smollett. This dude thinks he's way more important than what's going on in Russia, I think. He's not. He's just some dude. He's just some actor. Think about actors is hilarious because actors are like, actors be going, what I do is important. And I'm like, well, what? I'm going to say we now, because this year I'm an actor. I started being an actor last year, and I'm continuing to be an actor right now. What we do is entirely unimportant. Not entirely. I mean, stories are how humans this is how we persist. We tell each other stories, which is like warns the future generations of whatever's going on. This is how we evolve, supposedly. We're supposed to be like, hey, war is bad. And then remember that through stories of terrible wars, like Star Wars and stuff. Be like, see what happened a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away? Let's not do that again. But that doesn't work. But this guy, Jussie Smollett, he's an actor. He thinks like, well, what I'm doing is important and what I need to do is... It's not. This guy needs to go to jail. And I hope he does. I mean, he is. He's got sentenced to like 150 days in prison. In jail. Actor jail. Actor jail, which is pretty much, I don't know, central casting. For background. Hello, Noel Dreyer 2. Yes, the world is in turmoil. The problem with it is there's many problems. There's many, many problems. This guy Putin is out of his frickin' mind. This guy needs to get like a thumb to the eyeball. You know what I mean? I think they should dunk his head under like a water. They should lift him upside down and stick him in the toilet and flush it. You know what I mean? Stick his head in the toilet. This is what I think they should do to Putin at the very least. This guy's an out-of-control monster. We had these kind of guys We had Hitlers before. That's what's so passé, bro. We're so over these Hitlers. We're so over these Hitlers. No more Hitlers, please. You know what I mean? I'm going to close my Instagram. I just posted a headshot, I think. It's just a headshot. I just went to the park the other day and I was like, let me take some pictures. I got to take some pictures of myself because I'm an actor and I think what I do is important. I'm kidding, guys. I don't. But I think I could lift, at this point, I could lift Putin upside down and dunk him in a toilet. I've been working out. I think I could do that. You know? I think I could. Actually, I really do think so. Can someone just send me to Vladimir Putin's house? I'm going to run down that 20-foot gap that he has sitting at the table, you know? I'm going to run down. I'm going to use my hands more when I talk because apparently that helps you. That helps subscribers. Guys, I'm doing the real campaign right now. I'm trying to get people on board. The Aristotle Full Throttle Show is going international. That sounds really important, but it's not. It's just, you know, anything on the internet is international. And that reminds me, when I was a kid, when I heard about the International House of Pancakes, I was like, wait a second. They eat these pancakes in Belgium and Canada? What? They're international House of Pancakes? Like, are we going to experience pancakes from all over the world? No, we're just going to eat crappy pancakes. One time I did the all-you-could-eat pancakes. I had 12. I ate 12 pancakes at the International House of Pancakes. Stacked this high. It was as tall as me. But, what are you going to do? What can we do? We can't do anything right now. I mean, we could. But Joe Byron, he's like, F your life. Bing bong. That's all he says, basically, to Russia. Russia's sitting there like doing this and everybody's standing by. Russia, you don't get dessert. Go to your room. You know, and Russia's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And everybody's like, but. And Russia's just like, watch me do this. Watch me continue to do this. And everybody's like, but no, don't. You're not allowed to do that. Russia. Stop it. Please. They're not gonna. I'm really, 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 really depressed about it. Really upset about it. It's not a fun thing to be living through. We just lived through the worst pandemic since 100 years ago, and now we're living through a potential world war. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? I just saw the producer, some commercial I worked on, commented on my picture. You can go ahead and hire me. I'll be okay with that. You gotta market yourself in this world. You gotta say, look at everybody, I need you to hire me. How do I get you to hire me? Well, if I'm going to be a professional actor and be in front of a camera, here are some pictures of me as proof that I can sit in front of a camera. It's so absurd. I am an absurdist by nature. Everything, to quote Elliott Smith, in the abstract and in the most obtuse way, everything means nothing to me. And just hold on a second. I don't mean it means nothing to me. But it's a great song. You should listen to it. Everything means nothing to me. Just listen to it. You'll like it. It's really pretty song by Elliott Smith off of the album. Was it Figure 8? I think that everything in the world is just can be made into a joke, first of all. Because if you take everything seriously, I don't know how you live. I don't know how you live if you can't just realize that nothing really means anything, that we're just a blue dot hurtling through space, and your life. This is not fatalist. People hear me say this stuff and they're like, oh my God, that sounds so sad. And I'm like, this makes me so happy, because that means you can like literally assign any meaning to your life and pursue that. Isn't that great? You could pursue anything you like in this life, because at the end of the day, once you realize you know your own value, this is a very important thing. This is the moral of today. Every day I have like a nice little, hey, this is a thing you can go away with. Maybe think about some more. But you don't have to take my word for it. I'm just saying that, you got to know your worth, A lot of people don't understand that you are of value intrinsically. That's what my therapist tells me. You are of value intrinsically. You're born with value. There's no one else that can assign you value. You have it to begin with. It's true. Except if your name is Vladimir Putin. That guy's completely worthless. That guy needs to go to hell in a handbasket. I can't believe it. He's just bombing. He's just bombing these people in their homes. He's bombing their hospitals. He's bombing their prenatal wards. He's bombing their schools. What is going on? When I say everything means nothing, this means something. This means something. The needless death. The needless destruction. It's crazy. It's just crazy and needless. It's absurd. It's a different kind of absurdity, It's not as absurd. I mean, it's way, way more absurd than Jussie Smollett. Orchestrating a false flag attack on himself to martyr himself. What the hell's that guy up to, We need to forget this guy forever. I know that people are like, oh my God, he's an actor. He needs to act. It's like, nah, well, he did his worst acting job, and that's it. That's all we need. That's all we need. Oh, I got to use my hands more. I keep chasing the mic. I need to have the mic up here and talk like this. According to science. Anyway. Know your worth, be your authentic self. You are of intrinsic value, unless you're some douche idiot who's running a country named Russia. What do we got to do at this point? What are we going to do? We're just slapping them on the wrist. Hopefully the Russians rise up. The Russian people go, hey, we're starving. We have no gas. We don't even have Instagram. That's the line. Putin, we're coming after you. The Russians are trying to peacefully protest. The Ukrainians are protesting their occupation. It's really scary. Because what's next? Is he going to go into Poland? He's going to march right into Poland like Hitler did. Worst pandemic since 100 years ago. Worst European invasion since World War II. I say European invasion because, the United States invaded Iraq. We totally did that, guys. We totally did that for similar reasons. We were we're going to save them. We're going to be freedom fighters for Iraq. And we kind of knew that we weren't. So it's really bad. It's really bad. Noel Dreyer 2 says in the comments, Putin is pushing our buttons. If he literally hits Poland, we will have to go in, or if he starts using chemical weapons, he will find himself in a war. He does not want a nuclear war. He's smarter than that. He knows that it is a non-win situation for all. Well, I gotta agree with you, Noel Dreyer 2. Not only because we have the same last name, except mine doesn't have a 2 at the end of it. I'm gonna say that I'm going to repeat what Volodymyr Zelensky said in his latest address to the nation of Ukraine and to the world. He said, look, it's worrisome because Putin is saying that the Ukrainians are going to use chemical weapons. And Volodymyr Zelensky said, here's the alarming thing. If you want to know what Russia is planning, take a look at what they're accusing them of. That has just been the telltale sign over and over again. Projection, much, Putin? It's a very narcissistic tendency. Narcissists will tell you you're doing the thing that they are doing. So it's kind of like a weird lose-lose situation. You're just going to be like, no, you are one. No, you're one. You're one. You know, what are you going to do? How do you win? There's no winning in this situation because Putin's, it's crazy, you know, because it's like, what's he going to do? Continue to invade this small country, comparatively small country, and they're just going to keep fighting back because they're fighting for their very existence. If you think about it, if you're fighting for your very existence, it's just like, at what point, how do you beat that? How do you win? You're not going to win Russia. Like, it's going to be like Vietnam all over again. We didn't win Vietnam. The United States lost the Vietnam conflict, which was never declared war, the military conflict in Vietnam. We lost that. You know what else we lost? The war in Iraq. You know what else we lost? The war in Afghanistan. We're good at losing wars. You can't just go into someone's house and then say, mine now. You can't do it. You can't do it. But humans don't learn, you know. We don't learn. Stories that we tell each other get faded into history that we don't even understand. We don't understand. I'm using my hands. I'm like the Jackie Chan, like, you know? Nothing means anything anymore. The Russians are banning a bunch of like social media and stuff like that too, because they don't want to see their people seeing the outside world's opinion of what's going on. And they keep feeding their own people propaganda. Just like, you know, United States feeds us propaganda for sure. But what are you going to... This world is an illusion. Everything is illusory. And we're all going to die. Noel Dreyer 2 says in the comments he's trying to rebuild the Soviet Union, the USSR. That's true. He really is. But you know what? I think he wants more, though. He wants that land so he can pump oil through it. He wants to build a pipeline and pump oil through Ukraine and then take all that money. Because Russia is just based on taking all the money, you know? They just want to take all the money. They just want all the money. Oh, people. I don't know. I feel like people are everywhere. Everywhere I go, there's people. Uh-oh. People. Everywhere I go. I could walk for 20 miles into the forest, right? Then set up camp, and someone will walk by and be like, hey, how you doing? You can't get away from us. We're everywhere. And we keep wanting to go everywhere. It's like our instinct. You know? It's like an instinct of ours. We stink. It's a very quiet day. It's a very quiet Monday. How do you spend your Mondays? Noel Dreyer 2 says in the comments, I am just as afraid of this as you are. I don't know if I'm afraid. I'm angry. I feel pretty safe in my bubble here in Los Angeles, California. I feel pretty safe. I do fear, I guess where the fear comes in is like, it's just, I don't know if it's fear of just dread. It's just dread. I dread this. I dread Third World War. I dread this. But that's where we're at as a species. This is as far as we've gotten ever as humans. This right now, currently, at this moment right here, this is the longest humans have been on Earth right now. Right now is the most advanced humans have ever been, supposedly. This moment right here. Right now. This one. What are we going to do? I dread a third world war, but we are on course because as soon as, like old Dreyer 2 says in the comments, as soon as there's a bomb that's dropped in Poland, the European Union is going to get involved. NATO is going to get involved. The United States is going to get involved on a higher level. And as soon as we get involved, China is sitting over there going, China's not saying anything right now. China is not condemning Russia. But they're like, hey, that's a bad look, bro. Maybe you should. They're not even saying that. They're just kind of like, they're just standing by because they could benefit financially, I'm sure, from whatever's going on because they share a continent together, you know, China and Russia. So they're like, hey, how do we get that pipeline? How do we get that money to? Everything's about the money. Everything is about money. It really is. I mean, I don't know what to do. Humans are pretty petty, you know? I'm going to be on two things this week. I'm going to be on my friend's show, which is called Mediocre Films. It's called Bad Movies Live. I'm going to be on Bad Movies Live this Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just go to Mediocre Films on Twitch and watch me hang out with Greg Benson and make jokes about bad movies. We're going to watch a bad movie and we're going to joke about it the whole time. It's going to be hilarious. Come and hang out with us. Also, on Wednesday, check this out. I'm on a TV show. I'm not just a background actor, okay? I stopped doing background acting like years ago. I say words. I say a bunch of words on this one. You'll see me moving my lips and sounds coming out of my head on the show The Goldbergs. I'm on The Goldbergs this Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Check it out. Blink and you might miss me, but I'm in an entire scene and the scene might even last a minute or two. And that's a lot of minutes out of like a 26-minute show. So go check it out. It's funny. I think. I hope. I had fun. When I was on the set of The Goldbergs, I got to say that I just was like, you know, I'll let me just do this. I can do this. This is fun. I'm just hanging out with funny people. And everybody was sweet and everybody was nice. And everybody was kind of like, had the attitude of, can you believe we get to do this? Isn't this ridiculous? And I was like, this is the funnest I've had all week. So I'm on The Goldbergs this Wednesday at 8 p.m. on ABC. Check that out. I'm going to be on Mediocre Films on Sunday at 5 p.m. Check that out. Also, you can subscribe to the show. Please subscribe to the show because I would appreciate that. Today's podcast that went up is me having a conversation with the none other than Chocolate Rain's Tayzon Day. Me and Tayzon Day breaking down how Hollywood is as far as diversity and opportunity and, how Hollywood works, basically. Opportunities in Hollywood and whatnot, and hearsay and hope and therefore and all of those things. So check it out. It's on the podcast, the Aristotle Full Throttle podcast. Just check all the podcast sites. Yeah. Check out this excellent discussion I had with my esteemed colleague Tayzon Day regarding representation in Hollywood. Thanks for listening. This show is mainly funny. This show is mainly a joke show where we just joke around and have fun and it's absurd. But how do you do that in this time? I feel like the hard times yield the best art and they yield the best comedy. So let's have at it. Let's do it. For instance, if you watch the show Inside, it's a special. It's a Bo Burnham special called Inside. And it's on Netflix. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's what he did during lockdown, essentially. It took him a year, And every minute of it it gets better and better as you go. It's kind of incredible. Great example of what lockdown, what trying times can do for art, music, and comedy, which is what, I live for it. I really do. I live for this gig right here, And I appreciate you guys hanging out and chatting with me and chatting in the comments. And I just dropped a key on the floor. It really does. I think extend the dialogue. It elevates the conversation. Because I like to talk about representation and diversity in Hollywood because, you know what? I'm a diversity. I always pause during that part of the song. Listen close. Noel Dreyer, too, in the comments says, Joe Byron had a meeting with him over sanctions because secretly China is allowing Putin to use China banks that are not part of the sanctions, allowing Putin to straddle his sanctions. Woo. Sneaky and gross. Shame on you, China. Shame on you, China. Everybody is boycotting Russia right now. Everybody's trying to make Russia pay for this abhorrent crime against humanity. I mean, what's going to be the result of this? They're not going to win. Hopefully they don't win. I mean, it would just be horrible if there's like this occupied country in the world. There's plenty. I mean, actually, there's some puppet governments out there. But if this puppet government thrives, if we have to sort of deal with this situation, and I don't know, it's just awful. But I mean, here's a newsflash: how do you think the world was colonized? You'd think we got to the point where humanity has advanced enough to not do this kind of crap anymore. But right now, this moment right here, this is as furthest as we've ever gotten. Now, right now, as this is the furthest humanity has ever advanced, there's bombs being dropped in Ukraine from Russia. So much for being advanced. We're really not that good with being one with our environment. We don't have a niche. We take over niches. I say niche because if you say niche, you're speaking French. I don't care. People say niche, whatever. They can say whatever they want. But it's niche. The English version is niche. The niche version is French. It's niche. Okay? Just letting you know. Just being a pal. Just being your friend. But humans we don't have a niche. We just take. We just take. It's in our nature. It's how we've colonized the earth. It's how we're polluting the earth. It's how Russia is taking over Ukraine because Russia turns out it's run by people. People suck. I think about this a lot. I think about how there used to be other types of humans. There were like Neanderthals and Denisovans and Cro-Magnons and all these other kinds of humans, right? And we either bred with them or killed them. The humans that are surviving today. The ones that you look at everywhere, we're all the same species now. So we killed or absorbed somehow, took over all of those other species. It's insane. So you gotta think, I gotta think, this is based not in science at all, but it's just my hunch. You know what? We're the kind of species that just likes to take. So we like to go to new places, like Mars, and take. We like to ruin. We like to leave every place we go worse than we found it. When you should really just leave things better than you found it. And that's kind of true with relationships. I learned that from listening to Dan Savage's podcast. Dan Savage has a podcast called Lovecast, and he often says you should leave people better than you found them. And I believe that is true. I think you should leave campsites better than you found them, and you should leave people better than you found them. If you can. Sometimes it's out of your control, but you should definitely not suck, People like Putin who just take, he just takes. You know what I mean? He takes and takes and takes and takes. what I gotta say, guys. Noel Dreyer 2 says in the comments, we actually have veterans who are no longer in the military going to Ukraine. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of mercenaries out there. Ukraine has called on people from other countries as mercenaries. They were like, Volodymyr Zelensky's like, look, man, I'm out there fighting. I'm launching things I'm trying to shoot down these planes. Can you guys send some planes and some people? If you are moved at all by any of this stuff that's going on, please come to our country and help us defend it. That is a very compelling argument. It is a very, very compelling argument. If the governments aren't going to chip in, why don't there just be why don't we get the Delta Force? Get Chuck Norris? Listen, I've seen enough movies to know that Chuck Norris and Rambo could go in there and take care of this whole thing. Why don't we get them to? Let's call up Chuck Norris and Rambo. What are they doing? We even seen Chuck Norris in Rambo. We saw Rambo 3. He went into Afghanistan, fought the Russians. Why doesn't he fight the Russians again? Fought the Russians in Rambo 2? Fought the Russians in Rambo 3? Then he's just fighting like random people in like Rambo's 45 and 46. Rambo's 73 through 100. I kind of fell asleep.
Do you want to go to war? Because we could go to war. I'm for real.
I think Rambo fell asleep too. He's like, let me just take a nap. I actually set an alarm. My new alarm, I discovered I have a tablet. It's like 6 years old. It's very old, but it's an Android tablet. And it's got a Google Assistant on there. And my alarm in the morning is Rocky. Because it gets me going, it gets my blood flowing, gets me to wake up. And then it just starts telling me the news. My tablet just like, oh yeah, by the way, there's bombs being dropped in Ukraine. I was like, oh man, I started out good, and here we go. Noel Dreyers 2 says, forget about Steven Seagal. I agree. Forget about Steven Seagal because he's friends with Putin. I don't know if you see those videos, but Putin pays for Steven Seagal to come and like fight a bunch of people. They'll like all run it up to Steven Seagal, and he like literally just touches them, and then they fall down because it's all fake. It's all very fake. Steven Seagal's like trying to do judo, but he's moving very slowly and very little, and then these people are running toward him, and he just touches them, and then they do these flips and fall down. It's kind of like when a little kid like touches their brother, and then the brother falls down and starts crying, but because he wants to get the other kid in trouble. That's what it's like, I tell you. Jared Leto just tweeted. Let me see what Jared Leto just tweeted. 5 minutes ago, Taika Waititi. Oh, look, it's just him hanging out with Taika Waititi. See, I just got to copy Jared Leto's tweet because he's an actor. He's very important. Just like Cypher says in The Matrix, when he wants to go back inside the Matrix and he's making that deal with Agent Smith at the table and he's eating that steak. You guys remember when he's chewing on that steak and you could hear it crunching in his mouth or whatever? And he's like, oh, I know that this steak ain't real, but I love it. Just put me back into this, wipe my memory, and I want to come back as someone important, like an actor. Joey Pantaleone, very funny, very true. People think actors are important. They're not, but thank God for Tom Hanks. If we didn't have Tom Hanks, we wouldn't have any voice of reason. And everybody loves Keanu Reeves. I don't know, Jared Leto is not a great ideal person. I've got personal stories that probably corroborate the fact that he's not a very good person. You might have heard stories about Jared Leto. Talk to me off air, I'll tell you. My band opened up for his band, and I got stories. Noel Dreyer 2 says, on a positive note, there's going to be a Lethal Weapon 5. Oh yeah, I heard about Lethal Weapon 5. Isn't crazy racist ass Mel Gibson gonna direct that one? Racist ass Mel Gibson, Melly Gibson's, he's going to direct that one, I think. Anti-Semitic and racist ass Melly Gibson's. It's a moral quandary. Do I watch it? I don't know. He was the bad guy in what, the second or third Expendables movie. I don't know why they haven't come out with another Expendables movie. Those movies are fun. I guess they're problematic. Everything's problematic these days, they say. The word problematic is, quite frankly, problematic, if you ask me. I think that we overuse that word. You guys ever say words and then someone gets angry? You're going to make someone angry. Don't say words, whatever you do. And also, don't do any actions. Don't make any actions. Don't say any words. You're safe. Live under the floorboards. Unless, though, you want to upset the rats who normally live there because you're anti-rat, you ratist. It's like racist, but, against rats. But, listen, who likes rats? If I say that, right, people are going to be like, you're anti-animal. Why don't you say nice things ever about rats? Well, let me tell you something. I love rats. Psych. See, I said that I didn't like them, but that was a psych out. I love rats. I love mice and I love rats. I think they're cute and adorable. Sorry, you don't. I, for one, think they are cute and adorable. Rats, you know what they have when they have babies? They're called kittens. You know what? Mice have puppies. Mice have puppies. You never knew that, did you?
And knowing is half the battle.
What a day, what a day. Only 24 minutes left of this podcast, and thank you for tuning in. If you're listening on Spotify, thank you so much. That gives me a penny, and hopefully you've laughed at least once. Hopefully you're at work, or you're driving, and you're just listening to the dulcet tones of my voice in your ears, telling you stuff about, telling you about rats and kittens. I always say there would be no internet were it not for kittens or cats. And that's mostly what I share on Instagram. I don't know what you share on Instagram, but what I share on Instagram is puppies and kittens. There's really nothing cuter. There's really nothing worth it. I know today was going to be a true crime day about Jussie Smollett. Jussie Smollett. Well, that guy's an idiot. He needs to go to jail. Did you see him the other day? I don't know if you saw him the other day, but he got up and he was like, I'm not suicidal. And everybody's kind of like, all right, bro, nobody said you were, nobody asked if you were suicidal, as far as I can tell. He's like, I am not suicidal. That's kind of a weird statement, though, bro. Maybe projection. Remember we were talking about narcissists and how they kind of say the thing that they accuse you of, or they say a thing that they're actually thinking, but not you. That's actually the distinction. There's people who have problems with empathy. So narcissists and people with like borderline personality disorder, or at least these paradigms, they don't understand what is their emotion versus your emotion. They have problems understanding that. They have problems with empathy. They don't really know how what they can do can affect you, which is kind of messed up. It's kind of messed up if you ask me. So they will say stuff and they'll accuse you of what they're actually feeling because they literally don't have an understanding of what is their emotion and thought versus what is your emotion and thought. They think if they're thinking of it, then it must be you that has caused this to them. Now that is illness, ladies and gentlemen. That is not good. And this culture we're living in is building, it's emphasizing, it is cultivating narcissistic people. And you've got someone like Putin who's living in his high castle, the high tower, you know, he's like the man in the high tower or whatever, and he's just killing people left and right. He has no concept of any of the consequences of his actions. Maybe there'll be a tribunal, maybe. Like, how are they going to get him to come to that? Really, though? Like, I think he's going to put a gun in his mouth. I saw a really good poster the other day, which was like, can we just fast forward to the part where you stick a gun in your mouth and go in a bunker and put a gun to your own head? Yeah. Can we just skip to that part? Yes. Also, rest in peace, William Hurt. That one was sad. I heard about that one yesterday. He's a controversial figure from like the 80s. So let me just tell you, growing up, I watched William Hurt on trial, like the late 80s, early 90s. I forget when it was, because he was living with someone. He was living with a partner for a decade, and she was trying to make some claim to some of his income because they were essentially married, right? I forgot how that story panned out. If you guys can remember, let me know in the comments. But William Hurt, rest in peace. Remember, he played General Ross in the Marvel movies. He's the guy who made the Sokovia Accords. He wanted all the Avengers to sign it. Well, he's gone. Apparently, in the comic books, he actually turns into the Red Hulk. But he has left us. He has left us. But when I was a kid, he was on the news a lot in New York about because his former partner claimed spousal benefits after they broke up. And I think he won. I think he got out of that without having to like compensate his partner, which is just kind of an interesting, touchy subject because you see a lot of stuff going on right now with Kanye and Kim Ye. Well, it's not Kim Ye anymore. It's Kanye West and Kim Kardashian Davidson. No, I'm just kidding about the Davidson. I don't know. She is now with Pete Davidson. Pete Davidson is very appealing to celebrities for dating. He's a very appealing person to date. Apparently. He's very funny. Comedy goes a long way. Comedy can I don't know. Listen, whatever it is, I don't know him personally. Maybe he is a charming dude. Maybe he is a very caring, and whatever it is that is attractive to the people he's dating. That's none of my business, and that's everything to do with them. But the problem is that's the point. Is it's none of our business. But Kanye keeps bringing it back, dragging out the dirty laundry to the public. He's having like a public fight over his kids with Kim Kardashian, and he's like making music videos where he's like taking Pete Davidson's head and like sticking it in a blender and stuff. And it's like, dude, deal with this some other way. You know, this is not a very healthy way to deal with all this. You should probably seek therapy. But you know what? He's so rich and insulated and narcissistic that he's not going to. I unfortunately had the misfortune of being involved with a narcissist several years ago. And the problem with that is they will seek therapy so that they could find someone to help blame you for their problems. This is true. This is a very common trait. They want someone that can jump on their side and say, look, you're the cause of all of my problems because this person says so. This therapist says so. But therapists, the problem with narcissists, they don't understand that therapists will not do that. Therapists will help you try to understand why you feel the way you do, which is how do you own your own feelings. But that's the problem with the narcissist and people with borderline personality disorder. They don't know how to do that, so they blame you for their problems. And they try to get someone else to blame you for their problems. And oftentimes you'll see, just like I saw with the narcissist I was involved with, they just kept going through therapists. They kept shedding therapists. You know why? Because the therapists didn't just agree with everything they said. So that is not the way to heal. That is not the way to grow. You gotta kind of take a step back and own your behavior and own your actions. This is a problem for a lot of people. They don't own it. They say, well, I'm a victim. Everything that happens to me. It's not true in a lot of cases. There are indeed very real victims in life. There are very real victims. But what you're doing is you're undermining actual victims when you play the victim in every case. So you'll see those people on Facebook too. You'll be like, oh, this happened to me, and then that happened to me, and that happened to me. I never posted anything like that. Go through my timelines. I'm always just like, hey, here's a good thing that happened. Here's a positive thing that happened. I'm trying to like reverse the polarity on that. I don't need sympathy, but I do appreciate empathy, and I do like sharing successes with people. I do like spreading the good word, the good news. The good word, that means Jesus. Jesus took the good word out of our vocabulary. Now that just means Jesus. We can't just say good word. But William Hurt passed away. Very sad. He was only 71, which feels not old. That doesn't feel old. 71 doesn't seem old, but people die. Men die. Oftentimes men, biological men, or however you want to describe male-bodied people, people with testosterone, I don't know, die younger than female people. So, generally speaking, we don't have the edge on long life. Noel Dreyer 2 says in the comments, did you know Florida is doing away with condo inspections? So much for all those people who died in the tower collapse. Those people died for nothing. Oh my goodness. That's right. Thank you for reminding us of that awful news about the tower collapse in Florida, which was horrific, guys. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Oh, I can't. Florida, Ron DeSantis is the Florida of Florida's Florida. He's the worst. Ron DeSantis, you go straight to hell with Vladimir Putin and take a bath together for all I care. Because you're both dirty, and I don't like you. You dirty birds. Judella19 says in the chat, keep spreading the good word, Ari. Well, I'll try. I'll try. You know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to be like, poor me. Poor me. Nobody likes me. Nobody ever likes me. And it's like, well, have you heard what you're saying all day? You're just, who wants to hang out with someone who says nobody ever likes me? You know what I'm talking about, right? You know those people. Everybody knows those people. They're just like, no, I'll never find a man. I'll never find a girlfriend. It's like, well, with that kind of attitude, you'll always win. You'll always win that argument. You know what I mean? It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating when you, because you know why it's frustrating? Because I'm the kind of person who's like, going to cheer you on. I'm going to sit there and say, hey, here are the ways you could do things positively, you know? And then there are people out there that are just like, no, wait, hold on a second. You're giving me solutions to my problem. I want to wallow. Allow me to wallow. It's okay to wallow, though. But just know that there are solutions. There are ways out. And it's okay to be depressed. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to do all that. But when you're like constantly, you know what I'm talking about? It's okay to share bad news when bad news happens. But when you frame the entire world as bad news bears, that's when it gets obnoxious and irritating. It's okay to lean on your friends in sad times. And a friend in need is a friend indeed. That's what was that band? A friend in need is a friend indeed. I forget that band. Was it Placebo? Trying to prop this mic up. Placebo. They're playing. I've been looking at concerts. But I'm just saying, Jussie Smollett tried to get sympathy from everybody. He committed a true crime. I'm going to try to say true crime as much to help the algorithm. Turns out there's my audience is like 25% female, 75% male, and like non-binary is like 1 or 2%. But like, in order to balance that out, which I would like to, apparently I need to start talking more about true crime. Less about Batman, more about true crimes. But I do like Batman though. And everybody likes Batman. Who doesn't like Batman? I'm just saying I would like to incorporate that more because it is fascinating to me as well. I think that Jussie Smollett, he committed a crime because he wanted sympathy from everybody. He wanted everybody to feel sorry for him. He's like the ultimate victim. Dude is on top of the world, has success on a hit TV show, famous actor, musician, says, you know what? I can't stand all this positive attention. I can't stand all of this people liking me for me or me liking me for whatever. Can't stand it. Need people to feel sorry for me. It's just crazy, That's literally crazy. I never want people to feel sorry for me. I would like people to be happy. I would like to be happy for people. Tell me what's good. Focus on what's good. You know, a lot of people punish themselves constantly too. You know, there's like a sick self-talk situation. One of my favorite lines in the Spider-Man No Way Home. If you've seen it, it's fantastic. It's phenomenal. It's really good. Spoiler though. I think you probably know by now. But there's one Spider-Man saying, I don't feel so happy about it. I'm like kind of a loser. And then the other Spider-Man says, no, you got to start turning around this negative self-talk, bro. Just say that, repeat after me. You are amazing. You are amazing. Very, very funny because he's the amazing Spider-Man. Ha ha ha. Good joke. But be good. Be kind. You know, that's first. You know what? Do that first, okay? But if someone's a D-wad, you can go ahead and lay into them. That's you got my permission to do that.
Game over, man. It's game over.
You know what I mean? If you're nice, cool. But if someone's a D-bag, you can go ahead and you could just... It's game over. Am I right, Studio 8H? Let me just welcome first Judy to the show. Let's get that Sorry. Whoa. That's Colleen. I'm trying to avoid the copyright strike here. Yeah. I skipped around that because I was trying to avoid the copyright strike. Probably going to get the copyright thing anyway. Anyway, welcome Judy to the show. That's like the 20,000th day in a row that I've heard that song by the famous, the one and only, the legendary Chumbawamba. Welcome Studio 8H to the chat.
Live from LA, it's AFT. Starring Is This Will, K-Grid, Ayanolita, OCW 5000, 420 artists, Raccoon Raiders, and now introducing Studio 8H.
Such a fun intro for Studio 8H. Welcome to the show. Studio 8H, you're going to love it. This Sunday at 5 p.m., I'm going to be on Mediocre Films. We're going to do some bad movies live. Me and my friend Greg Benson, we're just going to riff on some bad movies and make fun of them. Hopefully this bad movie that we watch will have Gene Simmons. I don't know why I say that, but I never know. I never know what movie we're going to watch until right before we watch it, and that's part of the fun. And then we watch the movie, and we have fun watching terrible movies. Because Greg is one of the funnest guys and one of the funniest guys out there. And I'm not just saying that. I am saying that and believe it. Because this guy is hilarious. Why is everybody sleeping on Greg Benson? You got to get Greg Benson up on the platform. Greg Benson is a celebrity. He's hilarious. He's a comedian extraordinaire. And Kim and Charlie, they're the most charming family I've ever seen in my life. Kim is hilarious. Charlie is hilarious. They're a group. They're a whole family of comedy. It's amazing to me. It's a beautiful thing to see, and I love it, and I'm always happy to be a part of it. A part of his family, I'm saying. I'm actually putting a petition in to be his son. Studio 8H says, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. Indeed, indeed. That is basically, our show is Stuart Smalley's show, basically. Just not Jussie Smollett's show, but Stuart Smalley's show. You know, I say these things, and people sit there, they can make fun of it, they can be cynical about it, but you know what? Sometimes people just gotta hear it. Sometimes people just gotta hear it. A lot of times people are cynical. For instance, I have friends who, I love movies, right? I like to go to movies. I like to talk about movies, even bad movies live. I enjoy the watching a bad movie and enjoying it and having fun with the movie, and also appreciating some of the merits of those kinds of movies, those old kinds of crazy movies that I guess will not give Greg Benson a copyright strike if he plays them. But some of those movies are really, 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 really funny. But you got to appreciate them on some kind of level. But there's some people out there that just love tearing movies apart. They just love it. They just like to take everybody's work and destroy it. And it makes them feel better. It lifts themselves up. I don't do that. I don't play the victim. And I also don't victimize others. You know what I mean? There's some people who are just like, I hate that. That's a terrible movie. I'm like, that movie cost $200 million to make, which meant it employed so many visual artists who now can feed their families. It employed actors. It employed people. Not everybody deserves to be employed. I only don't like a big movie because when the executives, who aren't creative, it's a very tenuous relationship. There are the executives who got all the money because they know how to run corporations, and then they got to hire talent. They have to hire people who are like creative and talented. But the executives, by virtue almost, and it just seems to be like the history of all executives, by virtue of being an executive and a money power holder, for some reason, these people are completely vapid and empty as far as creativity. They don't understand how it works, so they pay other people to be creative so that they can continue making money off of the backs of creative people. And it's a relationship because now creative people now have a job. But the problem is when the studio's like, here's a creative idea for you creative people. I'm an executive. I don't know anything about creativity. I just know how to maximize profit and minimize loss. But let me contribute my creative. I fancy myself a creative because I've made $1 billion. Why don't you have Superman fight a giant spider? I'm talking specifically about John Peters. Noel Dreyer 2 says in the comments, every day is a good day. When I wake up, I'm still able to see the sunshine or light another day. It's good for me. I agree with that. Also, every day is a new day. Thank God for every breath I take. That is a POD song that you were just singing to me. I felt serenaded, and I also felt insulted because I don't like that band. Actually, I kind of feel conflicted because I met the band, and they're very nice. I met Sonny, and I met the bass player, and I met them, and I hung out with them, and they were very nice. So I'm conflicted. I do like them. Personally, they're not a terrible band, but they seem to really want to put Jesus and everything, which is fine. You can put Jesus anywhere you want. You could nail him to a cross and have him at the front of your church and be like, "Hey kids, look at that guy. You know what he did? He sinned. That dude who's dying on a cross right there and bleeding to death." That we are all, look, that human sacrifice, that actual literal human sacrifice up there on the wall that you, 5-year-old kid, get to see every Sunday. Yeah, that could happen to you if you're in bed. That's basically what church is. Studio 8H says, Greg mentioned what movie it's going to be for Sunday, but I forget. Well, I can't wait. Everybody go to Greg's channel now. I host Greg's channel when I'm off the air, and I'm going to be off the air at, about 10, 15 minutes now. And his show starts at 6 on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. But, check out Greg's show. He's hilarious. He's one of my favorite comedians. For sure. That's cool, because I know him personally. And personally, hanging out with him is hilarious. He's just a hilarious guy. Guys, what you see is what you get with Greg. I'm telling you. This also, but except, the stories off the air, the stories he's not allowed to say, I feel so privileged and that I'm privy to them. Because they are phenomenal stories. I'll prompt him on a couple of stories that I think he can tell. I'll prompt him. I just want to hear them. I literally just love when Greg tells stories. Because he's got them. He's got a bunch of stories. I don't know what movie it's going to be, Studio 8H. I probably won't even know what movie it's going to be until he like tweets about it. But I'm gonna tweet it out a couple times this week to hype it up because it's always a good time. I mean, I can't tell you how much fun I have, but I guess if you watch Studio 8H, I think you became a fan of this show from watching. But we just have a blast. He's a good time. I mean, I could literally just do an hour on how funny Greg is. But I won't. Give Greg a shout out next time you see him if you're popping the comments there. I haven't watched the show in a couple weeks or a little while. I've just I like to go in my little bubble, you know. I like to step away from all of the Twitches and all the streams for a minute and come back. Otherwise, it's all consuming. Which it is. I mean, this is all consuming. Right after this, I'm going to finish a video. I do raps. I don't know if you saw my Billy Zane rap. But my Billy Zane rap is on my TikTok. TikTok. You can watch my Billy Zane rap, where I rap about whatever happened to Billy Zane. It's on my TikTok. And I wonder. We all wonder. Now remember, these raps are once through. The music starts. I don't know what I'm going to sing about. I don't know what I'm going to say. I just do one take. And then I spend a couple hours making a music video for that. So putting the time in to make the music video for a 1 to 2 minute stream of consciousness nonsense blurb is all of the joy you could possibly have. It's very Rick and Morty of me to do. You know those scenes were in Rick and Morty where you could tell that they're just in the vocal booth, probably drunk, just saying random stuff, and then they actually have to animate it? They'll be like, oh, that's a movie about basketballs where everybody has basketballs for heads and they have to throw their faces through nets. But also pizzas are people and phones are humans. Pizzas. They say the dumbest stuff. They're probably more than drunk, if you ask me, because this is Los Angeles and there's lots of legal things here that you can have other than alcohol. Which, by the way, I highly suggest you indulge in while watching this show. Go back and watch my videos, too. If you haven't seen my videos on my channel, I'm just going to keep promoting. Because I feel like I've spent years. This is my 6th year, I think. I don't know. Doing YouTubes and doing all that kinds of stuff. And I've made many videos where I've edited them. And they're movie reviews and... If you're thinking about watching a movie, go check out my movie reviews. I've put a lot of work into them, and by golly, I think they're pretty funny. I think they're way better than, say, Chris Stuckman. Chris Stuckman is boring. No offense, Chris Stuckman, but you're a bore. I put a little bit more effort into my videos, thank you. This is Chris Stuckman. Let me do my impression of Chris Stuckman. Hopefully this will drum up some YouTube controversy. Ready? I saw the Batman. This movie really surprised me. Thank you. But you know what? He's got like 2 million followers. He's got 2 million followers or something like that. I don't know. Millions. What do I got to do? What I got to do? Ladies and gentlemen, tell me what I got to do.
Enough is enough.
Stop all the downloading.
Judella19 vouches. She says, the videos are really funny, some great editing. Thank you very much. I put a lot of work into it. You know who else is great editing? Mr. Sunday Movies. Sorry, I was like, I'm not going to play the victim, but listen, I'm promoting. I'm being positive, being proactive about it. I'm just saying that Chris Stuckman is boring. And that you should watch my shows. You know who does great editing? Excellent editing. Mr. Sunday Movies. There's a guy that he's just started editing their videos in the last year, I think. Last couple years, maybe. There's 2 guys that edit their videos, and oh my goodness. So funny. So funny. Watch Mr. Sunday Movies, that channel on YouTube. It is a great channel. They do a podcast much like this, and then someone cuts together visuals for their podcast. And boy, oh boy, did they do a great job. And I get so inspired watching those videos. I like set aside time. They're like 20-minute videos, 15, 20-minute videos. And I will set aside time to just sit and stare at it just to enjoy the editing. Because, you know, I'm an editing geek. Studio 88 says in the comments, maybe you should review Chris Stuckman's movie. Oh, does he have a movie? I'll do Chris. I'll be like, this movie really surprised me on account of there being pictures and sound. The actors in it really surprised me. Chris Stuckman, come on the show. Let's talk. Let me ask you why you're so easily surprised by movies. If you guys like watch his reviews, I watched many of his reviews to the point where I'm like, I could do this way better than him. So I'm gonna. I watched so many of his reviews and he's like always constantly surprised. It's surprising. Studio 88 says, I'm not sure if it's been released yet, but I know he's making one. Well, he's got all that YouTube money and all that time. Me? You want to see how much money I made on my my podcast this weekend? Let's look. Let me refresh the page. I made, since last Thursday, drum roll please. Here, is there a drum roll?
It's a sledgehammer.
No, that's not a drum roll. You guys ready for this? Wait, drum roll. Yeah, there we go. Since last Thursday, I made... Want to make a guess? How much money I've made on my podcast since last Thursday? Since last Thursday at 1 p.m. $14.95. We got $14.95 from Studio 8. It's $14.95. It's at $14.95. Studio 8H is $14.95. Do we got from $14.95? $14.95. We got $14.95. We got to go with. We say 15. We say 15. Anybody say 15? Anybody? 50 cents is Judella 19. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you said $14.95. $14.95 is Studio H. The correct answer is $1.20. That means Judella 19. You take home today's prize. Of a high five, but not a personal high five, like a interdimensional. You could put your hand on the screen, and that's your high five right there. You could catch a high five right here. Psh, psh. Judella 19, you guessed without going over. It's $1.20. Because freedom cost $1.05. $1.20 is actually pretty good because I was making about 8 cents a day up until last week. So thank you for your contributions. Actually, Studio 8H is a subscriber. So you are... Wait, hold on. You are a champion, Studio 8H. Thank you for supporting this show monetarily. Anybody out there can support this show on any way you can. Just listening to it, actually, on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That helps. Studio 8H, Shelby Oaks has Stuckman's movie in pre-production. Okay, well, thank you for letting me know, Studio 8H. I will check it out, and I will review Chris Stuckman's movie. Here's the thing about Chris Stuckman. I don't have anything against him. I just find it confounding that, I do have something against him. I think he's boring. And that's the worst cardinal sin. I just think Chris Stuckman should come on the show. We should talk about... Listen, I fired first. I was a warning shot across the bow. When he comes on, I'll be very deferential. I'll be like, listen, Chris Stuckman, I just wanted to get you on the show. I don't have anything personally against you. I just find it like, listen, what do I got to do? Backflip? Do I literally got to do a backflip? I'll do it. I'll try. But if you guys support this show by subscribing on Patreon or subscribing, you could just pledge $1, $5, $10, $100,000 a month to the show, and it really does help. Because, quite frankly, this is my job, and I enjoy it, and I put a lot of work into it. I do it every day, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we have a good time. I also create content for TikTok and all of the other things. So go there and check it out, because I'm going to have a new TikTok up maybe by morning, maybe by tonight. It depends on how hungry I am right now, because I got to eat. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. If he could be the POD of movie reviews, he could be the POD. Yeah, listen, if he's the POD of movie reviews, I'd like to think that I'm the David Gilmour, the greatest living guitar player. David Gilmour. In my opinion, I think he's incredible. People ask about their favorite guitar players and stuff, and they're like, oh, Buckethead, because he goes like this. And then they're like, John Petrucci, because he goes. And I'm like, I don't feel anything when they play. But when David Gilmour plays a guitar solo, he slays me. David Gilmour and John Frusciante, he's pretty good. I'm just saying, these guys are incredible guitar players that are emotive. We lost Prince, another incredible guitar player. I'm just not impressed when you could play all of the notes very fast. I'm impressed when you could play the right notes at the right time and the right pace. That's what's impressive to me musically. I get moved. I can get moved. I have a movement when I hear good guitar playing. You could play 2 notes. For instance, I saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers many, many years ago, and John Frusciante, guitar player extraordinaire, played a guitar solo that was 1 note. He just went like this. He just went like this. I can't do it because I'm not John Frusciante. But he just did this. He was like this. And it was perfect in every way. The most famous major 7th chord. Probably. Thank you guys for watching. This has been the Aristotle Full Throttle Show. Every day, Monday through Friday, I always got something to talk about, and I've always especially got something to talk about with you. Because I love your faces, you're beautiful, you're wonderful. You're really encouraging. Hopefully I can encourage you back. Hopefully you can tune in on Sunday to Mediocre Films and watch us on Bad Movies Live. Please do so. Show your support that way. It's a fun time. I promise you. You'll laugh. You'll cry. You'll kiss your $0 goodbye. Costs nothing. Costs nothing to have fun with us. You might have to watch an ad. Okay? But that's how you support the creators. Some people like Greg, people like me, we just got to make things every day of our lives. Listen, I wake up every day and I'm like, it's another day. That means I gotta make stuff. I gotta make stuff. I don't punch a clock. I don't go anywhere. I don't go somewhere and sit down. And mad respect to those who do. They do the daily grind, right? I do my daily grind, which is like, literally I have to make my life up as it goes. It's like a cartoon where I'm building a road, a bridge. I'm building a bridge as I'm walking over it. And the bridge might be collapsing behind me, but I'm building the bridge as I keep walking. This is my life. So I appreciate any type of support that you can lend, just your ears, is good support for this show. Because that's really what it's for. This show applied directly to your ears.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Another one.
Hey, isn't there... Studio 88 says, hey, isn't this where Will usually stops in with a 45-minute question? Yes. Shout out to Will. Shout out to Will. If Will's... Okay. All right. If Will's watching the VOD, what's up, Will? You missed out. You missed out on the bonus show. Usually, I call Will the bonus maker. He makes no bones about being bonus. He comes in and he says, "Let me just ask you the most thought-provoking possible question that would take a lifetime to answer until Aristotle gets starving and can't think anymore." We love Will. Will is a important aspect of the AFT show. He brings charm. You all are. Studio 8H, Judella 19, Raccoon Raiders, Noel Dreyer 2, everybody who stopped in today. I appreciate you. And those of you who don't even pop in the chat, I see you too. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. I'm right behind you. But thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, this is when Will. That gave me the biggest laugh of today. Studio 8H, you win today. You win the world. You win today.
Impressive. Most impressive.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Indeed, you did. Thank you so much for stopping in. That's the kind of community we're cultivating here. Characters and fun and good time. That's it. You go get a trophy, Studio 8H. Watch out. I see you. People get awards on the show. And you just wait. You just wait for that.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
We'll find out what's in the box tomorrow on AFT. Thank you for joining me. I'm Aristotle Full Throttle, your bro with the fro. It's shrinking. My fro is shrinking. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. I'm winking with both